Well, one thing I figured out pretty quick is when I get one of these for myself, which I will do, it is just a matter of time, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this right off the bat before I even get too far into it. Let me wipe all this stuff out. And I'll show you. It's a really thick gasket. So logic would say, you know something? How about a base gasket delete until you do this? See it pop? So the piston actually interferes. It'll push it right off. So you can't do a base gasket delete. But I can chuck it on my lathe and do a pop-up. Well, what I did was I got these pieces of bar stock and I set them on the other side of the case, set the bearing in there, and then took the other piece of bar stock in my brass hammer and tapped them in. After heating the cases up to a couple hundred degrees with my, oh my god, how old is that Black & Decker gun? I had this back in Greenwood Lake, New York, back in the 80s. So, new bearings. These happen to be NTNs. We're going to give them a try. So, and again, one of the things I like about this series of saws that I've discovered is they use the same bearings and seals as the darn 372s. You know, how do you beat that? Here's one. Get some good oil on that thing. Well, there you go. Now, interestingly enough, this tool I have is for a 575 here. I had to do one of those ones. So it isn't exactly the right tool for the job, but it worked just fine. Look how nice and free that is to pull this together, and I think it's pretty even too. I'll tap it if it isn't. No, it's pretty even. So the next thing we have to do is see what we have for interference, so I know how much of a pop-up I have to do. So let me clean up the needle bearing. Well, I was shooting for 22 thousandths. Well, we have no interference. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to put some cylinder bolts in there and measure my squish. And that's good enough. Well, that piston went in there and I sealed it up with the 1184. That's it. How's that? Top end on. Bearing seals, pop-up piston, turns over nice and smooth. Pop a spark plug in there if I can find one. Get a sense of what the compression is going to be like. Oh yeah. It's quite a bit of compression actually. Well, that's to be expected.